Good evening and welcome to Andy's Shed Live. This is Series 11, episode number 8 for Sunday the 6th of November 2022. Hello there everybody and welcome to the show this Sunday the 6th of November, and a different kind of format for you tonight. Only half of this stream is going to be on YouTube. Around about 7 o'clock we are going to switch over and try out odyssey.com. Now if you want to watch it and if you want to watch all of it, there is a page on our website that explains what is going to be happening. And around about 7 o'clock, when this stream finishes, you'll get this message, and this explains it all. The live stream will continue at Odyssey at 7 o'clock. To view the stream, the easiest way to do it without having to go through Odyssey and look what's happening there is to go to our website, andyshed.coldpress.net/live. The /live bit is important. That's https://andyshed.coldpress.net/live, or just go to the main page on the website and then click live in the menu, and you will see then two streams, two pictures, one above the other. The top one is the first half, that's the YouTube half, and the bottom one will be the Odyssey half. So if you look at that page now, you should see the top half is running and the bottom half isn't. That's the theory behind it anyway. Right, I'm just having a look who we have got in the chat tonight. We've got Penfold, we've got Miguel, we've got the spammers in as well again. Which we will get rid of. Right, just looking here what we can do. Yeah, right, I've got rid of that, I think. I think we should have got rid of some of the rubbish. Just going through the rubbish. I must be getting popular to have all this nonsense on here. Yeah, must be getting popular. Right. Right, we should be moving it. Right, yeah, Wesley's here, Penfold's here, as I say, Spig is here as well, various folks are appearing. So, how's this going to work? Well, as I have explained, go to the website, andyshed.coldpress.net/live, when we finish on here, and you will then see us appear over there. Does that make sense? But yeah, we will appear on Odyssey. And the main reason is, after the stream last night, YouTube decided they weren't going to monetize the video last week. And by the time they did decide to monetize it, of course nobody wanted to watch it anymore because it was nearly a week out of date. So I'm getting thoroughly hacked off with YouTube, so could well be going to Odyssey permanently. So that is a distinct possibility at the moment. So yeah, well, we'll explain where we're going and that, and how it's all going to work in a little while. Right, is the chat still rolling? Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, so Speaks here, Penfold's here, Wesley's here, Miguet's here. Dominic may not be here tonight because I had a message from Dominic the other day. So he might not be on tonight because he thinks he's got COVID. And of course there are still about 3 million people in the country with COVID at the moment. And that's using the real figures. Not using the government's manipulated figures where they're trying to make you think it's all gone when it hasn't. So get well soon, Dominic, and I hope you're feeling better soon. Right, I need to clear my desk a bit. I've got loads of stuff on the desk here tonight. While I do that, I will tell you that of course, we do have the website if you want to contact us, and that it's here, andyshed.coldpress.net. That is also the place to go to look for the live streams as well if you want to. There is a thing on the menu that says live on the end of the menu, on the main menu on that website, and if you click that, you should see the 2 streams for tonight. Like I say, the YouTube one running first at the top, and below it you should see the Odyssey one that will be running a little bit later. Also remember we've got a forum as well. The forum is here, gpotelephones.proboards.com. If you want to talk all things telephones, you can do. That is the forum site. And if you like what we do here, we've got Patreon as well, where you get a little bit of extra content. If you want to join up on Patreon, if you've not done so already, www.patreon.com/AndysShed is the place to go, and you will be able to join up on there, hopefully. And it's about £1 a month to join up as a patron on Patreon, so cheaper off the price. Right, just seeing how we are getting on. Penfold says, "Get well soon, Dominic." Yeah. Hopefully he will. He may be watching. He may be watching from his sick bed. Penfold says, "Is the live chat on the Odyssey channel?" Right. The way to do the live chat, there is a kind of chat on Odyssey, but we're not going to use it tonight. If you're on YouTube, at the top of the chat window, there should be a little thing you can click on, like a little menu thing you can click on, that then displays the message "Open pop-out chat." If you open the pop-out chat on YouTube and keep that open when you close everything else, open the pop-out chat, it'll open in a new window, and keep that open when we switch to Odyssey. There is a way of doing it from the web page, andyshed.coldpress.net/live, and it will tell you how to do it on there. So when this stream ends, the chat from this stream will continue, hopefully. As I say, it's all a bit of a trial. It's all a bit of a test tonight. So we're just seeing what works and what doesn't tonight. Probably a lot of it won't, but there you go. We're giving it a try, shall we say? Just giving it a try. Things have been happening on the phone front this week. Yes, things have arrived. Going through the post the other day, it's this. A 706 phone, I hear you cry. You'd be wrong. It's a 710 because it's got 4 buttons on the top. This arrived in the post. Did it actually arrive yesterday? I think it arrived yesterday. I'll get it on the other camera if I possibly can. But yeah, I think it came yesterday, this. and it's quite a nice one because it's an early one, you see, with the alphanumeric dial bezel and that. It's strange because it's definitely a 710 case, but when you turn it upside down, it does say 706 on it, as you can see there. So it's all a bit oddball. No line cord on it at all, just a hole where the line cord should go, and there are things rattling about inside it as well. So I think we might have a little look inside, shall we, and see what's happening. I'm also a bit sus of this dial label. This dial label looks like a sort of photocopied one. It doesn't look genuine, that dial label. So that looks a little sus. How does it dial though? Is it any... yeah, doesn't run bad, but the clutch thing in the dial isn't working because I can hear that's making all the mechanism run that way, and it shouldn't be. So there's something not entirely working in the dial there. But let's have a little look inside it because there's something rattling about inside. So we undo the two screws, and this case should come off a lot easier being a 710, and it does, because 710s, because of the need for push buttons on there, don't have the things at the front, the two little bits at the front that engage in these two holes down here. So 710 case, you can more or less just drop it straight on like that. It's way better than trying to put a 706 case on. Way better, because you know I always grumble about the 706 and 746 cases. This is way easier. So why did they not do it like that on all of them? So it's a 710 case, but it's a 706 on the inside, because where there should be things for the buttons, there are no switches installed at all of any kind on there. So I'm not quite sure what's happened with this. Maybe it's a bitzer, because inside things have been uncoupled and cut. I mean, it's got a handset cord, but the handset cord isn't connected to anything. Lots of things have been cut and removed, as you can see. Basically the only thing that looks that's left intact is the bell wires there. So we ought to put a few things back, shall we? So we'll remove the remains of that. And that one as well, if I can get at it. There, and then we want to take this one out. So yeah, I've got to try and get that one out from under there and put it in underneath, which is making it awkward. Right. So that one wants to go in there. 16, 17, 18 and 19 are together. that one back in there. We can take this one out of here because we'll be putting a resistor into there. Actually, for now, I'll do it without the resistor. Because it will be the only one on that particular extension, so I can do it without the resistor for now. So I'll slip that back in. So we've got to wire this up, and it's red, green, blue, RGB, or 1, 2 and 3 generally. So just undo them, and I have to mess with this because a lot of these screws are loose. On the bottom row we end up with white, so we have red, green, then we'll be going for blue, and the next one, which is there. I'll make sure all the things are tightened up, because things are not terribly tight. That's it. See, that one's loose as well, that I haven't touched. And that one. So yeah, definitely been messed with, I would say. And then of course want to put white onto there, into T10. And that's your normal way of wiring up a handset. Right, how are we getting on? I'm just going to keep checking back on the chat, make sure everybody's okay there. Penfold says the pop-out chat works so far. Good, that's excellent, Penfold. He says, I hope all this works on an Android phone, or I'll never catch up while I'm offshore. It should work on an Android, Penfold. I've done it. I've used the Firefox browser and gone into my Android phone and gone onto the website andyshed.coldpress.net, and it does seem to work. But if there are any issues with it, do let us know. Penfold says, "Is it a plan set phone?" No, I don't think it is. It's just a 710 with the buttons and things, because it's not got any cutouts on the base. Hello, there's a one of those lurking about inside it. That must be what was rattling. So nothing, no knockouts or anything in the base. So I don't think it's been on a plan set, because there'd be wires going through the base if it had. But a 710 is basically a phone that they use for various different things. It was just a phone with that could have up to 4 buttons on the top. While we're here, I'll reverse this. Oh. If I can get it out. Crank it tight, that one. I always reverse these and turn them that way around, so that takes all of this lot out of circuit, basically, because it's never that loud. So we put it back in the other way around. Very tight one, that. There we go. That's all back in there now. So we'll be needing a line cord in a minute, won't we? Mia says, is that an anti-click? That's on the capacitor. Yeah, this thing. Yeah, yeah. This is the thing. It's basically 2 diodes wired back to back. That's what they actually are. But they just sort of encase it in something or other to make it look like their own fancy device. But it's 2 diodes wired back to back, and it just limits the voltage going up the handset, basically. So limits how loud it is. I normally take them out because they're just another thing to go wrong. Although they don't tend to go wrong. But yeah, I normally take them out. Wesley says, will you run through what happens later again? I can't get this pop-out chat you're referring to. What are you watching on, Wesley? Are you watching on a ordinary computer? Maybe Penfold can tell you how he did it. But if you're watching on the normal YouTube page, somewhere top left, no, top right, you're right, my left, there should be a little menu in the corner of the chat, and if you open that menu up, which I think you just left click on it, I think, to open it, it comes up and there's a thing that says pop out chat, and then you just click on that and it lifts the chat out of the YouTube page, and when it's popped out, you'll just see like a blank space where it was when it's popped out, with like what looks like a picture of a YouTube ninja, and it says nothing to see here, we popped out. And then the pop out chat will be in a separate window, should be. Try going on the website andyshed.coldpress.net /live. Try going on there and watching on there, and you'll see there's a thing to work the pop out chat on that page there. Right, okay, we'll go back to it, shall we? So now I'm in need of a line cord. Right, better get one of those. Now with me 1 second. Got to move things, it's got rather a lot of stuff here now. Look at it. Crazy amounts of stuff. Right. Line cords. Here is one line cord. We will give it a go. So, line cord with a modern plug on the end of it. So, here we go. So, red of the line cord, T8. That's one side of the line. That's one leg of the line, basically, the red. I'm never sure if you need to leave that link in really between 8 and 9. I have a feeling you don't. But I just leave it in because it doesn't hurt anything being there. Right, the other side of the line, which is the white of the line cord, now goes somewhere in this block here, this 16, 17, 18, 19 block. I normally put it on either 18 or 19. I'm going to put it on, no sorry, I normally put it on 17 or 18. That's what I meant to say. I'm putting it there on 18 purely and simply because it's easier to get at. But of course they're all wired together, those four, so it doesn't matter which one you put it on. Then green goes to 15 because there's nothing on 15 normally, unless you've got a very strangely set up phone. So generally you put that on there on 15 and just park it there because it does nothing under normal circumstances. And then blue, 1, 2, 3, 4, you can put it on 4, 5 or 6, it doesn't matter, that's all wired together. Of course, if you had got your resistor in there between 4 and 5, you would have to put the blue on either 5 or 6 because it needs to go through the resistor to get to the bells. So I will put it there on number 6 just because that is slightly easier and I don't have to disturb it when I do put the resistor in there then. So that is that. Now, for reasons best known to the GPO, even though all the stuff for the handset cord tends to be on this side of the phone, the stuff for the line cord tends to be on that side of the phone, traditionally they swap them over. So this one goes in this side and the handset one goes in that side. I don't know why this is, but most phones are that way around with them twisted over, so I'm assuming that's right, that they are sort of crossed over. If anybody knows which way around they're actually supposed to be for the GPO spec, let me know, because I don't know for certain, but that's the way most are. So we've got that all wired up now. Is there a thing to hold this down? Yeah, this little thing here, you see, holds down the hook switch. You hold that down, push that out. The hook switch is now held down. See that? If I press it, it'll release it. Yeah, see? So that's an engineer's thing, and the idea is that you should now be able to plug in and that's the equivalent of the phone being on hook now. So if I use another phone and dial it, it should hopefully ring, and it does. And if I take it off the hook, now I should be able to do the thing where you blow into one handset and listen in the other and see if it's working. Oh, that's working. And that's working. So that's good. Yeah. Right. So now we'll try dialing out on it, shall we? Now this might not work because I've not done anything with the dial yet. Oh, it does work. I'm suitably impressed. Yeah, all working. Brilliant. So, it's working. It's all working that. So, we can now put the case back on that. It's a winner. And as I say, because it's not got those two lugs at the front, this case, and this is a 710 case, if you look on the thing there, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it does say telephone 710 on that diagram in there. Can you see that? Telephone 710. Got to get myself back in focus now on the desk. So yeah, so there we have it, and the case will just more or less, it should just drop straight back on. It's been a bit awkward because I've put the two cords in now. There we go. Much easier than they normally are, you see. And then we can do up the screws. And there we have it. So that is working. Now I do need to get my long screwdriver out and flick this this out. These you put a long screwdriver. I can't do it with this screwdriver. You need a long thin screwdriver, and you basically put it under there and give it a little bit of a twist, and it will normally flop these centres out. It will normally flick them out. I've never tried on a 706 to do it with a sucker. I can give it a go. I've got a convenient sucker. No, it won't pull it out because they're different opals to it on a 746. And it just won't pull it out. And I've not got the screwdriver handy anywhere to do it at the moment, but you get the idea. So there we have it, a 706/710, all working. Like I say, the buttons don't come up. There are actually two buttons. The middle two are blanks, but there are actually two buttons that you can lift up on it, and if I turn it upside down they should flop downwards. You'll see what they say. One of them says exchange on it, that one. What does the other one say on it? The other one says bell off on it. If I hold them like that, I don't know if you can see. So this one that's on your left says bell off, and the one that's on the right says exchange, and the two middle ones are just blanks. They're not actually buttons, but they just drop down, you see, because there's no actual switches underneath them to hold them up. So there we go. That is that one sorted out. Right, we will have a look what people are saying in the chat. Well, he says, I've popped out of the chat and write this via my browser. Wesley says you need to view YouTube via a browser as opposed to the YouTube app. Yeah, oh yeah, sorry, you do. I hadn't realised you were watching it on the YouTube app. Yeah, you need to do it via a browser. I always watch via a browser. I don't use the YouTube app because it serves way too many adverts on the YouTube app for my liking. Wesley says regarding the way to wire up the phones, you know, swapping the cords over sort of thing. He says the official way is the way I've done it. Penfold says I think they did it to remove the slack in the wire so they didn't catch on the case when it was installed. Ah, interesting. Perhaps so. Perhaps so. Well, I haven't thought of that, but yeah, you could well be right. Right, we will take this phone away. It's actually got a really bad suntan, this phone. I don't know if you've noticed, but this side is very yellow. I don't know if it shows up on the camera even. At the front here and down here, it's very yellow. Look how un-yellow it is at the back, and on the other side it's not yellow either. You know, on the other side it's not got it. So it's obviously been sat one way around in the sun, because look, it's got some right tan lines on here where just half of it's gone yellow. So this will be a candidate, I think, for un-yellowing by some method or other at some point. Right, we'll put it out of the way for now. Wrap the cord around it. Get the cord out of the way as well. So yeah, that's that. All done. So yeah, that one is very cool. So we've got one or two things have arrived this week. In the second half, we've got some more phones to show you in the second half, in the Odyssey half, which will be coming up around about 7 o'clock. So we'll be trying that, and also hopefully you might see this half coming up on Odyssey as well later to watch back, sort of thing. It's complicated stuff. It's complicated stuff this week. For those of you who are interested in what the radio station is doing at the moment, and the patrons will have seen some updates already. I've been there today and it is basically now almost ready to go. I'm just waiting for a man from PlusNet to come and install a broadband line into the studio, and then we will be ready to do some test transmissions. And then it gets really expensive, because then you have to start paying things like license fees and insurance for people to come into the building to make shows and stuff like that. But we are looking at the moment for radio presenters. Anybody who wants to have a go at presenting on the radio, you can either do it remotely or from our studios at Plesley Vale. Get in touch with me if you are interested in going on Plesley Vale Radio. If you've got my email, just send a message to my normal email saying you're interested. If you've not, get in touch initially via the website andyshed.coldpress.net. Use the contact us form on there to make initial contact, because if I put my email address on this stream, I will get a load of spam, because that's what happens on streams. Right. Right, it all looks okay at the moment. Wesley says, haven't they just got shut of Steve Wright from Radio 2? They have indeed, Wesley, and it's a big mistake, I think, as well. I've listened to Steve Wright on his afternoon show ever since he used to be on Radio 1. When I went to school, Steve Wright was on Radio 1 doing his afternoon show. That's how long ago it was. And I think somebody said he's been on Radio 2 for 27 years doing the show on radio, and that's probably about right. And the people that they've got on in his place and that, it's just no. They've given Scott Mills the slot, and Scott Mills is trying, but they've not given him the tools to do the job, sort of thing. They've not given him the co-presenters and things that you really need to make that show successful. So poor old Scott Mills has kind of sat there on his own, trying to hold it together, and they have shortened it as well. I think they've realised, and they've shortened it. So whereas Steve Wright used to be on 2 till 5, Scott is now only on 2 till 4, and they've made Sarah Cox do an extra hour at tea time. But Wrighty, for my money, was one of the best radio presenters there's been. At least back in the day he was. He may have slowed down a bit. He may have not been as good in recent times, and this may be one of the reasons why they've got rid of him. But he was still alright. But back in his Radio 1 days, he was just brilliant. The format was just fantastic. But yeah, Wrighty and Kenny Everett, probably the two best ones that there's been. So it's a real shame that they've ousted him from his afternoon show, but he is still doing his Sunday Love Song show on Radio 2 apparently. So he's not entirely gone. He is still lurking, but yeah, that zoo format, as they call it, that he used to do the afternoon show in, I really like that, and nobody else does it. So I've no clue why they got rid of him, but their ratings will be down, I'm pretty sure. But when PVR starts up, we are hoping to put an afternoon show in that exact same Steve Wright slot, 2 till 5. So if anybody wants to go at being the next Steve Wright, get in touch with us. andyshed.coldpress.net/contact us. I believe it is that one. Right, okay. Yeah, so Penfold says, a few hours less of Zoe Ball. Sarah is better. I don't mind Zoe Ball. I think Zoe's alright. I quite like Zoe Ball. Yeah. Wesley says, when I was out in my van fettling those copper pears, it was always Radio 2. Yeah, Radio 2 is the most listened to radio station in the country by miles. It's not even close. Yeah. I was talking to a friend of mine about this the other day. She thought Capital was probably the most listened to station in the country, but it's not. It's Radio 2, and it's Radio 2 by miles. It's not even close. You know, between top position and second position, there's a humongous gap in the listener figures. I don't know exactly what the numbers are, but I know it's a big gap. Penfold says, Tommy Vance was my favourite on the Friday Rock Show. I don't remember Tommy Vance. Who does it now? Oh, who does the Rock Show now on Radio 2? Johnny Walker does it now, doesn't he? And Johnny Walker seems a strange guy to be doing a rock show, because his voice just doesn't fit a rock show somehow. Johnny Walker. It just doesn't. I don't know why, but it just doesn't. But the one that drives me to distraction is Lisa Tarbuck. Oh, she's... well, yeah. We'll just leave it at that, shall we? But, yeah. Wesley says, TV on the radio. What? Oh, TV on the radio. Tommy Vance on the radio. Yeah, yes. Sorry, I wasn't with it then for a minute. I was sort of in cloud cuckoo land, as I so often am. So, yeah, I wasn't entirely following that there for a moment. But yeah, Tommy Vance. Speak says, Radio 2 may have had more listeners, but not for much longer, in my opinion. Yeah, they're messing about with it, aren't they? Because somebody told me that Jeremy Vine is leaving his lunchtime show as well. I don't know how true that is. I've not had that confirmed by anybody. But I'd heard a rumour on the grapevine that Jeremy Vine's leaving as well. Whereas he says, my absolute favourite, which I sorely miss, was Sounds of the 60s with Brian Matthew. Oh, crikey. I'm going to say something really, really controversial now. I hate 60s music. I absolutely hate it. And yes, that does mean I hate the Beatles. The most overrated band of all time. Tinny Noise is the only way I can describe the sort of 1960s sound. Generally tinny noise. You know, recordings were not great. There was a reason it was tinny. It wasn't just that they were terrible. They made it tinny deliberately because recording medium and that wasn't great in the 60s. You know, sort of records and early tape and stuff, and the equipment you were playing it back on was often terrible, was often cheap and often terrible. So it didn't have the dynamic range of sound. You know, if you were playing it back on a little Dansette record player type thing, it's got no bass to it, or hardly any bass. If you were spinning your singles on one of those, you know, pointless having bass on your single because it doesn't reproduce it. So that's why the 60s sound was so tinny and that. And they mixed it to be tinny, which is why everybody that does a cover version of 60s stuff, it always sounds way better than the original. So yeah, I'm controversial there. So yeah, I kick in the 70s. I kick in with people like Mud and ABBA and people like that, but I don't go back any further than that generally. Wesley says, that was a joy of SOTS though. There was far more to it than what people immediately think of, i.e. the Beatles. Yes, he played different stuff, did he? I don't know. I never caught his version of Sounds. They still do Sounds of the 60s, don't they? I think Tony Blackburn does it now. Yeah, I never caught the Tommy Vance version of it. I'm sure there'll be some tapes somewhere. Somebody will have got some tapes somewhere of it, won't there? See, the thing about radio is, as far as I know, there's not a thing for radio like there is YouTube for television. You know, old television shows, you can sort of type it into YouTube and chances are somebody somewhere will have uploaded an episode on YouTube. So if you go back and to those old TV shows, things like The Invisible Man and stuff like that, you know, type it into YouTube, there's some episodes of it on there. Yeah, I know people shouldn't because of the copyright and that, but I don't think the American networks bother too much about copyright on these old shows, so there are episodes up there. But when it comes to radio, there isn't a one-stop shop. There isn't a big site for like old audio productions, like there is for old film and video productions. So we do need a kind of YouTube for audio. I know we've got things like SoundCloud and that, but yeah, we need an audio version of YouTube. Speak says, I used to present on hospital radio, Andy. One of my shows was an hour-long Beatles show. We'll be roping you in for PVR. We'll be roping you in. Yeah. What it says, you used to get BBC podcasts of Hancock's Half Hour. Yeah, well, the BBC have got a load of stuff, haven't they? That they play out continuously. On some of their digital radio stations, they play old dramas and stuff, and old comedy shows and that, and they've got the radio version of Hancock's Half Hour, the radio version of come on, oh God, what's it called? I'm having a brain freeze. The Home Guard thing, Dad's Army, that's the one. They got the radio version of that, and they're on constantly. Because a friend of mine in Sheffield listens to them all the time. So yeah, they go round. So they obviously didn't wipe the audio tapes in the way they wiped the videotapes. Thankfully. So they do still exist. And yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting, these old shows, but yeah, I'm looking to maybe try and get the rights to some old shows to play out on PVR, possibly some old American shows and that. It would be quite nice to get some of the old Abbott and Costello shows from America, you know, Who's On First and all that stuff. But yeah, we're working on that. We're working on that. Speak says regarding the radio, says, I'm not sure I could commit the time these days. Oh, I'm sure we can. I'm sure we can fit you in somewhere, Speak. I'm sure we can fit you in. The other thing to say about the radio at the minute is if anybody is anywhere near us here, or near to the Plesley Vale studios, and wants to come down and actually have a look at it now, now is the time. Because it's basically all up and running and working now. It's not prettified yet, all the cables aren't tidy and that yet, but the thing is basically working now. So it's a really good time to sort of show people what it all does and stuff. So if anybody wants to come down and see us at Plesley Vale, get in touch with us. Again, andyshed.coldpress.net. And we'll arrange to give you a guided tour. There you go, you heard it first here. Right, it is almost 7 o'clock, so it is almost time to do the switch over onto Odyssey. Now, I'll go through again what the routine is. When this stream finishes, it will hopefully finish with this card on it, and this tells you what to do. It says the live stream continues in a moment on Odyssey. To view the stream, visit our website at andyshed.coldpress.net/live. On that screen you will see two pictures which are actually video blocks, one on top of the other. The top one is the first bit of this stream, and if you're watching on that page now, you should see me moving about on that. The bottom one will be the Odyssey stream, which should auto start, I believe. So we will be going over to Odyssey. Remember, keep that YouTube pop-out chat thing open if you've got it. On this andyshed.coldpress.net live page, There are instructions on how to open that pop-out chat if you've not done so already. You do need to be watching through a browser, though, as somebody said earlier, i.e. not the YouTube app. Obviously you can't watch Odyssey through the YouTube app because it's not YouTube. So get on a browser and get on andyshed.colepress.net live. We are going to finish here now, and in a couple, it'll probably take me a couple of minutes to get to Odyssey. So in a couple of minutes time I will reappear on the Odyssey stream. But for me, for now, thanks for watching this part, and we will see you again in just a couple of minutes time.